Welcome everybody to the Somerville Line. I'm your host, Alvin Benjamin Carter III, and today we have some really great guests. I'd like to introduce Beth Swan. She's joining us, and she has a new segment on the show called Just Curious, so you'll be seeing her a lot. We also have today Coco Lady, Sister Ray. She's here to discuss Afro Chief fitness and a number of her other endeavors. We also have a lovely audience in the back. They might get a little larger before they're here, but I'm going to kick things off to talk to Beth. Welcome to the Somerville Line.
Thank you so much, Alvin. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me, Just Curious, your segment that's going to be on this show. What's it about? Let's give some of the viewers a gist of what you're going to be doing.
Just Curious is about people's story, people coming to tell their stories who motivate and uplift other people and coming to share their experiences and their trajectory on how they came to be where they are.
That's awesome. So I know you have a number of cool things going on, and I want to get to what motivated you. But what are some of your ventures and endeavors that you have going on?
During the day, I'm a wardrobe stylist at a boutique in Harvard Square called Looks. I represent a jewelry designer named Heather Hoffman, who handmade smith working and semi-precious and precious gemstones. And I am also a musician. My band is a little bit on hiatus right now. We're looking for a drummer. Drummers are pretty hard to keep around. And that's, other than Just Curious, which I'm really excited about, researching and discovering, coming across people that I want to have on the show. That's
great. So let me ask you a bit about the music part of it too, because we do have a number of musicians, and maybe you'll play for us one day.
You never know.
So when did you start playing music, and what really got you going?
Well, I have been singing all my life. My grandfather was a jazz drummer, and I was next to him sitting on the piano bench singing, and was singing in chorus and madrigals and traveling madrigals. And I took a break from it for a little while, and I backpacked around Europe when I graduated from college and saw these people busking on the street and thought, I want to get back to that. And so when I came back, I started singing a cappella at open mic nights and looking for instrumentalists to join my band. And I've had a couple of bands. I had a band called Reckless Daughter for about 8 years, and we played Harbor Fest and the Topsfield Fair and Music Fest and the Maine Brew Fest, lots of big festivals and clubs in Boston and Cambridge.
And so also, how'd you find, I think they're both similarly creative, fashion world? How did you get into that?
Well, I actually got into the fashion world because my band was traveling and I needed a more flexible job. And my current roommate was working at this boutique where I work now, and she fell in love and moved to Nantucket. And I sat down with my brother, who's an economist, and said, can I afford to do this? Because the band was going to New York and Philadelphia and around New England. And so I really didn't have much of a background in it and have just learned.
Oh, that's awesome. So, and now for Just Curious, where would you be looking for guests, or how is the segment structured? Can you give us a little bit about that?
Well, we've only done one show so far, and I had on an herbalist who started an herbal conference here in Somerville, along with a yoga instructor, and they do a lot of partnership workshops and retreats. I'm really excited. I have a couple of mural artists that I want to have on the show. I have a doctor who is pro-medical marijuana, who we'd like to have on the show. I have a gentleman who is a psychology professor at Bunker Hill Community College, and he's also a medium. And I believe we also have an astrologer lined up.
Wow, so it's really a diverse set of people. That sounds excellent.
Thanks, I'm really excited about it. But so many people have stories to tell that inspire and motivate other people.
That's so true. That's part, I think Just Curious and the Somerville Line, that fits together. And I want to be one of your early guests in a few minutes, actually. We're going to turn the tables.
Okay.
But a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
How did you also find the balance between being, such a creative person musically and fashion? I know you had the flexibility, but what's the time like for as far as being the creative person, coming with different looks, coming up with different styles, coming up with music and touring? Is it ever in conflict, or does it kind of flow?
That's a great question. And I think both have happened, being in conflict and being in the flow. Right now, I'm not touring, so I'm a little more stabilized as far as location goes. But as a creative person, I think you always like to be busy. And winter's nice for the creative process too, because all the snow here kept people inside, and it's a good time to be creative. And
a lot of books and albums are probably written from January till last week.
Especially in New England.
So if you had to say, this was the thing that really got me going, and we could say music or fashion, but what inspired you to pursue creative endeavors in such a professional way? Some people, play music here or there, or they might draw some sketches, some styles, but what said, I'm going to go for this?
Well, I had dabbled in it here and there, and when I would take a break from it, I just felt like a part of myself was missing, and I knew that I would always do it, even if I wasn't performing or touring. I'm still writing songs, so it's just a part of me.
Just how it works. And do you have a studio process or anything like that? Because a couple of my friends, the studio is like 4 months of them going through it and even writing in the studio. Or do you guys, collect your work and then just kind of go on in?
It really depends on the project and the band and the funding that's available.
True. Yes.
Some people have some home studios. Right now, my
Support
bass
the
player has a studio in his house, so we can do pre-production work and work on things there. It's really varied. I can't say it's ever been a consistent process, and sometimes you end up writing something in the studio. The guitar player's laying down his solo, and you're in the back room with the drummer who's got the cool beat going, and you start singing something over that, and you never know where a song can be written.
Oh, that's great. So how did you approach Just Curious? Because I don't know if anyone knows the story of how you and talking to the producer, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is a cool story. The producer, Lisa Wilkes Ball, we met up at a event at Mr. Sid, which is a really beautiful menswear
He was on the
store.
show. Yeah.
Was he on the store?
I believe he was one of our. I think he was on the first show.
Oh wow!
I think it was the first. Yeah.
So the men from Aji were hosting an event. Who I've heard they've also been on the show.
They were with Mr. Sid. Yeah.
They were okay.
Yeah, they're all here together.
Because I told them I'd like to have them on Just Curious.
Okay.
And Lisa had talked to me about my band possibly coming onto the show, and would I come down to the studio and check things out? And I did, and SCAT is a really cool place with so many resources and staff, and just really cool vibe here. And she asked me if I had extra time to talk about the possibility of another project, and she sat down and told me about your show and what a great host you were, and they were hoping to add maybe another dynamic with another host to do just a partial segment. And it really excited me in the moment. And it's funny enough, my friends in college way back when had always said, oh, you're going to have your own talk show someday. And you should call it Just Curious. And so this was coined a long time ago. And I've been doing music for a long time and fashion for a while, and it was the first new thing I've really been excited about. And I've just kind of been running with it. And the more I talk about having people on the show who inspire and motivate other people, someone has someone they want to introduce me to, a business card to hand me, and people get really excited about it. People need to be uplifted and motivated, and it's just been such a positive force so far.
That's great. Well, can I be one of your guests right now? Can we turn the table?
Absolutely.
I think we have enough time, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So, Alvin, I am just curious about how you came to be involved in the Somerville Line and how you met the producer.
So, I met Lisa. We both work at Harvard University, and, we've seen each other around, and she was like, hey, I'm going to do this show. Do you want to be a host? A little while ago, I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. And she's like, I want to get things together. I want to do it right. So some time elapsed, and we've seen each other at functions and things. And I'm like, I'm still down. And then one day she was like, hey, you remember that show? We were riding around. I was like, yeah. She's like, you still down? I was like, okay, let's do it. And met with her, similar, and talked about what it could be. And I really want to work to help make her vision come alive. And then it's been great to be part of that and be able to even weigh in. It's great when a producer's like, hey, everybody, let's talk, instead of this is what you do.
Yeah,
So,
she's super cool like
yeah,
that.
so it works out pretty well.
So how have you found your guests for the Somerville Line?
As a combination of Lisa would find some people. I bring in people I know. I'm in the music world. I'm in the entrepreneur venture world. A number of folks. So like we had Young Pandas on. They're actually they're touring the country right now. They just did South by Southwest, and they were the house band for a night.
And what kind of music do they play?
I would call it it's like it's a I'd call it R&B,
Okay.
soul acoustic. You know, it's kind of got a vibe to it. It's if your singer-songwriter guy was very, very, very cool and relaxed, but they have some jams too. It's really good,
Okay.
and so that was great for me to see them here. And then folks, I do mixed martial arts. We had Ken Moy from Redline Fight Sports in Cambridge, and he came on before a big fight he had was taking place at Mohegan Sun for Bellator Fighting Championships. So there's a lot of people I know because you know, you can think you're interesting, but that means your friends are probably more interesting. So
Agreed.
yeah.
And you're in the music business as well.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I went to school for music industry at Northeastern, and I play music. I play the guitar. I do music production. But so I managed some bands in the past, and now I do a lot of music production.
Where do you do that?
I have a little home studio, The Office.
Awesome.
Also go to other studios. I'm pretty good with most studios, so if you put me in there, we can make your beats, we can write your songs, we can engineer the recording, mix, master. So I offer a lot of that to people when there's time. But there's just been a good amount of time lately for some things. I have a cousin. It's funny because I told him he's my cousin. I was like, he's a rapper. I was like, everybody has a cousin who's a rapper. I need you to be really, really good. I'm gonna help you out because I can't be another guy who's got a cousin who's a rapper.
Right.
And he's doing really well. His name is Front Page. Front Page the 7th, if you're searching him, that's a search engine thing.
The 7th.
And he's got a lot of great, well-produced music videos. I mean, they are top-notch. And he's out in LA now. He's done his thing. He's toured London. He's East Coast, the West Coast. So I'm probably gonna help him with some management stuff, just because he's at that point. And
Awesome.
yeah.
So where did the interest come for you for music to go to school?
My whole family pretty much is music. My Alvin Sr., he's a percussionist. Alvin Jr., percussionist and a set drummer. My uncles, all dabbled in music. I think my mom and her brothers had a record company when they were younger.
Oh, cool.
There was this one artist, the guy ended up in the band Surface. They had a hit, and they like put out his records, which is interesting. So I always heard about it. My mom brought concerts when she went to college. She brought like Earth, Wind and Fire in Chicago and all these people to play. So I ended up going to, I got really into music on all sides. And then Northeastern had music industry. I wanted to learn the business and production and get a chance to play. It was the best general mix. And then I started booking concerts at Northeastern through like they have this Council of University program. So
Wow.
we brought like Busta Rhymes and Redman, all the people. I'm telling you how old I am, but all the folks at the time. It was a really cool experience. We brought Nas, Gym Class Heroes, The Roots, and bands like
Nice.
that. So
Fun.
yeah,
And now your day job is
I'm at Harvard Art Museums. I'm actually
Oh,
the
wow.
website and multimedia coordinator for Harvard Art Museums right now, and it's been really cool. I was at Harvard prior at the Hip Hop Archive. I was the associate director of programs there.
okay.
And I still serve as their innovation director, helping them with select projects.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm at the art museums. We launched a new website and that was November. And the museums opened in November. They were closed for about 5 years for renovation.
Fog.
So yeah, it was the Fog. Now it's all of them. So the Harvard Art Museums.
Oh,
They would be
okay.
upset with me if I didn't say
Okay, all right. Well, a few of my customers from the boutique
Mm.
work at the Hip Hop Archive and work with the
Oh,
Harvard
there you
Museum, so I
go.
bet we know a bunch
That's
of people
funny,
in
yeah.
common.
Well, the creative types like to really go get the clothes. You know,
Yeah.
so.
And how do you do with balancing the creative and the business side?
I'm lucky enough that it's kind of woven in, and I also say there's a lot of hours that I think get misused after work. You could, sometimes it's you want to relax and hang out, and then other times maybe you want to write a song, or maybe you want to look at some documents and get some work done. I know it sounds silly, but yeah, it's just kind of all fits natural, and I think college prepared me for that because college was having a lot of fun, writing songs, making my own records, making other people's records, doing work. So it all just kind of happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to get your business card maybe
Yeah.
a year for production.
If you need some production, I got it.
Well, my band Temple 22, that's my band now.
Yes.
And I might, hit you
Sounds
up,
good.
Alvin.
That was good. Wow, I was just on Just Curious. That's excellent. So I guess before we head on to the next segment, I want to give you a little quick lineup today. So far, we're going to have a couple of PSAs, and then when we bring out Sister Ray, we're going to have some more folks. I think we just got someone else added. A former guest as well, Olga. Hello, how you doing? So, and also, I would like to, do you have your URL for your website?
I do. It's www.swanimageconsulting.com. I do closets. I kind of forgot to mention that. That's another business that I do, is I go to people's homes and help them go through their wardrobes, figure out what to wear.
Sounds good. And I'm the host. You can find me, but alvincarter3.com. And I'm just told that we're not going to be doing PSAs right now. So I'm going to probably ask you a couple more questions.
Okay.
So when you were at the event, Mr. Sid, how is it when you go to events that are fashion-minded and there's a lot of different people? Do you find it like you're going and you're kind of working still? You're seeing what's going on, checking out the trends, or do you get to just enjoy them? Because it's kind of hard. Like when I go to a concert, I'm like, oh man, this doesn't sound right. You know, like you kind of lose the fun.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. I also worked in menswear for a little while, so I was walking around Mr. Sid and feeling all of the textiles and looking at the lines and the collars and were they spread or were they buttoned down and what their price point was. But there was also really wonderful food and beverage.
There you
And Lisa had actually shopped at the boutique where I work, and I recognized her. We had some familiarity. We couldn't remember exactly how, and then we traced it back to that. And so, yeah, it becomes social. When they're serving alcoholic beverages, it gets a
changes
little more
everything.
relaxed.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I remember I was recently at an event, and it was kind of funny. There was a lot of really cool speaker systems set up. So I was walking around like you're checking the fabric. Oh, what's this? What's that? I also do DJing. I DJ parties and events, but weddings recently has been a pretty big thing.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, you know what? I should stop shopping for equipment and I should just enjoy what's going on. So that's why I
Right.
asked. It can be kind of a hard thing to juggle. If you were to say, all right, so it's winter, it's February, everyone's in the house. Would you find yourself maybe sketching looks more or writing music? Or do you find there's a time of year or a time of the week where you're like, I'm going to make music? Because I know for me, I find that like it's when I need to go to work, I want to make a song, you know, and that kind of slows everything up. How about you?
Sundays, I find, are always really creative days for me. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with lyrics or a melody running through my head, and I'll have to write them down or record it. But you never know when it's going to grab you on the train, on the bus. You know, you're trying to balance getting out your phone while you're holding on to the metal bar. So it's not a specific time. It's really kind of random. What about you?
I find for me it's there are some specific times I want to. Doesn't mean I always do. Sunday's kind of one, but usually like it's Sunday. Yeah. I'd say I do a lot of beat production. That will be usually while I'm doing something else in web design. I'm like, I don't want to make this website. Now I want to make this. So it's kind of, and it's usually one of my own projects too. So it's not like I'm missing out on anything. But yeah. So I think now we are going to segue over to the next. Thank you. That's our producer. She's keeping me grounded. And thank you so much for coming
Alvin,
on.
thanks so much for having me.
This is great.
And thanks for being on Just Curious.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right.
So now we're going to, yeah.
Hello everyone. We're here with Sister Ray, the Cocoa Lady. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Are you breathing?
Yes.
Are you breathing well?
Yes.
Life begins with that first good deep breath. We must all work together to ensure we have good quality air at all times.
There you go. I'm going to take another deep breath for you. Okay, there
All
we
right.
go.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Good. So, thank you for coming on the show. You have a lot of great things going on. And the first thing I have to ask you about is Afro Chi Fitness. So please tell me, you got the pin on and everything. Let's see what this is.
Well, Afro Chi Fitness was a compilation of a research study that I was working on for a senior group. And I was told by the director that some of the yoga, which I'm a certified yoga instructor, might be too aggressive for them. So in meeting their requirement, I incorporated some chi movements in order to slow it down, calm them down, get them to good breathing, and really found myself, I didn't have a name for it at the time, but seeing that the movements from a video that was shared to me was so Afrocentric that it says, this has to have Afro in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So we made that as part of the formulation, and then the chi with the breathing and the energy clearing, opening and closing the body in order to bring that harmony within was so important. So that's how that really developed. So Afro, chi,
Okay, got it.
energy, sun, the energy coming down, and the shu, S-H-U, is the movement. It means technique. So I just brought all of that together in order to make that work. And I'm bringing it around and people are loving it.
That's great. Yeah. Have you? Didn't you recently present? I believe you said that was in February for Black History Month.
Oh, that was the art component.
Sorry, you have so many great projects.
That was the art component. I did present to the Providers Network at the Marriott Hotel through the winter. And that was a really great experience for me for that. People really got going. We had big circles and they were all doing their chi movement and dancing. They learned, it seemed like they really appreciated it. We got great reviews from that. So that was the Afro Chi movement. And then we have the Bohemian Arts, which is another piece that's really good. Sort of for my more mature life, I wanted to have some dabbling in the arts. It was just sort of a personal goal. So it seems to be coming to fruition a lot sooner than I expected. I do clay, I work with clay. I make faces in clay. And was actually invited with my group that we developed. We've got actors and musicians. The music you're hearing, that's Matrajad D. Ulipian, and he's the musician, the first to make reggae jazz. And that's the tune you're listening to in the background. So we have artists like himself. We have the pen and ink. We have canvas artists, graphic artists, and we were able to present at Boston City Hall for Black History Month.
Wow.
So that was really a very blessed occasion, to be so new in the field and to have that kind of recognition by the mayor of Boston was really,
That's great. Now, how did you find everyone to be involved in art components? It seems like you have all types of art forms. Was it just like, through knowing people and?
Well, in the travels, I've been working in fitness and massage for many decades. And you'll be surprised how many talented people you can meet in the course of a day. And to be able to bring, closer that network and then sort of tie them in, that's what Bohemian Arts, came about. I am on Facebook with that group. You can join, anyone can join in there. If you have a talent, we do look for people who, are developing what their goals are. We don't want people to just looking just for the sake of looking. We want you to be part of it. We have a lot of opportunities there. People from all over the world go to our site and invite us to go forward. Italy, Colombia, Spain. We get internships for that or to show your work. They do shout outs for setting up vendor tables. And if you're ready, you can go because those opportunities are there. And now this is getting into the busy season where people are scheduling, for the month's activities. So if you're an artist or you have talent in that way, you want to check out Bohemian Arts Boston. It's actually Bohemian Arts Boston, Cambridge, and beyond. Because we've just networked with so many people that it's hard to just say exclusively Boston, but Boston really is my passion. I grew up in Boston, so you know, I want to always make sure I have that added in.
That's excellent. Well, I'll be signing up after the show for sure.
Wow.
Hopefully I can, give something useful. So I also wanted, I was at your website and you have a couple other great things going on. You also have the wraps?
Yes.
Those are, I have to ask.
Yes, we embraced it as our own.
Okay.
Culturally, head wrapping is a universal technique. So no one country, owns all the wrapping kudos
Yes.
on that.
Yes.
Okay, every culture has some way of wrapping, just like every culture has some Afro movement into the dance. Okay, so that the head wrapping was shared with me to a level of perfection to make it better by a sister Amani Faith, what's her last name? McFarlane. Amani Faith McFarlane. Okay, and she taught me a good while ago in terms of mastering the twists and some turns. And in her honor, I actually continued to go on because I wouldn't say I'm a master, but she's a master rapper.
Really?
Okay, she's one of Boston's master rappers. She's from the islands, okay, but she is wonderful in terms of the artistry of what she does. So in taking it a little personal to make something my own, okay, I had to look at what do we do with head wrapping per se in Boston, in the area of New England. We've always had some kind of wrap, okay? We had the brothers who had the do-rags,
Yeah.
And that was to protect their hair.
I used to. It was a while ago, but I had a few do-rags.
To protect from the outside environment, they might be riding a bike and still have a do-rag on.
Yeah.
Okay, take the do-rag off and the hair looked all great. That was something that was definitely a cultural thing. But that was the brothers, okay? And the sisters had their own kind of wrap, okay? And with that being said, to put it in an easy way to understand, if you were with the in crowd, you were called a homie, okay? And it was okay to be a homie because you were one of the buddies, close friends and so forth. Okay, so I thought about that, and how many times did I ever think of someone being a homie? Maybe because they did have their head wrap? Okay, I said, well, I'm gonna make this D-A, homie, without the E, head wrap. Okay,
that's it.
All right, so that really, really worked. Okay, so you can style it, you can get different fabrics. I have, I should have brought it with me, I apologize for that. Okay, you can get, it's a pattern. Okay, you can make more. You have one already in the package and the directions of how to wrap it just in case you don't have a clue.
Hey, there you go, so you're ready to go.
You are, and we have it in our traditional red, black, and green. Okay, or you can have it as a real African fabric in the mix-up. So it's totally up to you which one you want to purchase, but it's definitely available, and that's why just embrace it as our own, okay, and having fun with it.
That's great. So it's available on your website for free?
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah. And we had some Russians that came in and took all kinds of pictures in order to take it back to Russia.
So
I need to add that in there.
Spreading the word, spread it around. Okay, the homie rap's gone international.
It's gone international. Absolutely.
That's great. So I want to go back to Afro Chief for a moment. We're gonna go with the audience in the back and do some in a bit. But I want to ask you, so you started out doing more yoga, or where did you start out in fitness, I should say?
Probably my base is massage.
Okay.
Okay, like I said, decades in the field and still in the field. Okay, with the massage, I went forward and developed a headache therapy technique.
Oh, I need that, so let's hear about that.
Okay, I did a lot of studying with it, did research, went up to McLean's Brain Bank, stuck to the books, picked it inside and out, ran my technique past many a physician. Okay, I did have a clientele of doctors often, and tried to figure out what was their feel on that. Okay, and many of them know that's not possible. Okay, in the way I was working with the cranium. It says, okay, I still kept going. I didn't give up on that. Got a few laughs, and that always inspires people even more when someone laughs at them. Okay, oh no, that's not possible, or you can't do that.
Now you gotta show them, right?
Okay, so after all that being said, I went forward, continued to study, and was fortunate enough, I worked at the police bar over in Cambridge, and the owner, Silky Moss, God bless her, she saw the value in what I was doing, okay, and let me take it to the floor. Okay, so I was able to apply the technique to the clients there, and you know, as they had headaches, okay, and she had people close to her as well who she knew had headaches, and I had great success with them. Okay, one of them in particular, Stephanie Warburg, she liked it so much. At that time, she was going through some headache issues, or she knew someone with headache issues, and ultimately referred me to the Faulkner Pain Clinic.
Wow.
Okay, that she told the doctor about the success that was being made with it, and the resident there, Dr. Sperling, he asked me to come to the physician's rounds in the morning in order to present what I was doing. And I did, and they gave me an excellent review in what I was doing. And it was the first of its kind ever to be done here in Massachusetts, or maybe anywhere. Okay, and like I said, we're going back decades. They've brought a lot on since then in the massage field. Okay, but I was definitely in the forefront in making that happen.
That's amazing. Wow, you're making history. And then when would you, because that sounds like that was a lot of time and a lot of research. When did the yoga component come in, and the chi even? It seems like it was a progression.
It definitely was. Because of the information that was necessary to really work successfully with the headaches, you had to study what is building up to the headaches. You had things as food triggers, you know, you had stress triggers, and you just had all kinds of triggers. I can go on, trigger, okay? And in trying to peel back the layers on to reach the inner core for what that headache was about, I had to study each level, okay? And I think the next level became the nutritional aspect of it. Okay, so from that I studied, you know, what kind of foods were working to trigger that up, went to be certified with that aspect of it, and comfortably can say I can work easily with being able to help identify that in a good way, which I'd still teach classes on headache therapy at the Brookline Adult Center, and I have that seasonally ongoing. Okay, so that's about the headache. And from the headache piece and understanding that, let me see, we went to the yoga, okay, because the importance of the stretching. Okay, opening and closing the body is paramount in order to get the blood circulation going. So for that, I worked with that program to be certified through the yoga. And the next component for that one was, let me see, what was that, the yoga? There's another important piece, I have to think about it. Okay, there was the yoga.
You were stretching in the...
Stretching, nutrition, relaxation. Okay, now the reason why I got that out of sequence, because that really, that came right after the massage. And that was a visualization, okay, to help release any tension within, visually calming down, soothing, bringing that inner core to grounding to Mother Earth. I always like to say that. You're going to ground to Mother Earth with your own visual third eye, and bringing that center core and identifying any tension within as you go within your body with your good corrective breathing and centering and going down. When you do that, you understand what the tightness or tension or ill feelings or anything that goes on differently, and that's how that Afro chi benefits, because with that, again, corrective breathing and passive stretch, you identify that from morning till night. Okay, you can identify what you ate in the morning, okay, what rhythm or actions you did through the day, how it affected you in those rhythm and actions. Okay, and the bottom line is, as you retire towards the end of the day, how do you feel? Okay, you may not feel anything immediately, but you certainly would identify it with the value of the Afro chi the next morning.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that next morning, you actually can, when you do the chi again and remember and go through and breathe and stretch, it changes. Okay, and there may be good that you feel better, or bad that it wasn't there before. And that's part of the self-healing for the curative effect, and bringing that whole inner third eye into that center core to be comfortable with where you are in life. Okay, and the more you do that, the better you feel, the more limber the joints are and the body is relaxed. And it is a way of like dancing with the Afro chi. But we all, culturally, we have many different ways to dance. Some affects the body in a good way, some wears out the body.
Yes.
Okay, depending on how they do it or what kind of dance they have. So it's up to you to determine what your actions are and how it's affecting your body normally. And the Afro chi and that reflection in the morning will help you know if that was too much the night before. So that's really how that goes.
That's great. And also, I think it's very obvious, but to let everyone know, Afro cheese for everyone, because movement's there, and to not let the title, I don't know if you want to say something about that.
Exactly. As I just mentioned, it is culturally, there are segments in there that surround every ethnic background. Okay, and you easily can identify where you are, where your family is, and what you've been taught in terms of dance and movement to say it's part of the Afro cheese movement. Okay, because it works just that good. Okay, and if you know of a culture that doesn't have movement in their repertoire, there's something wrong.
Something wrong. Stay away.
Because it's so necessary to keep it going.
That's great. Also, I was wondering what we have right here.
Ah.
I was watching that since we started the segment.
Well, this is Cocoa Ladies cocoa powder. Okay, customized. Okay, we are able to connect with distributors from Africa and around the globe at this point, that around the equator, because remember how cocoa grows, it's around the equator. Any humid zone is where the cocoa pods grow. We don't know that. If I were to ask you right now, what color is the cocoa pod, what would you say?
I have some inside information, but I would normally say it would be brown, dark color, maybe like a big Brazil nut, but I believe it's green and pink-ish, depending.
Well,
it depends?
It depends on the soil that it grows from.
Okay.
Okay, there can be some that's sort of an olive kind of outside color.
Okay.
But again, it's about the soil.
I see.
Okay, the soil will determine exactly what the color of the pod will be. So that's a key point.
See, I was cheating. I was at the Tazo chocolate factory around the way, and that's where theirs come from. They were that color. So that's all I knew. I'm not really versed. Okay.
Well, that's good though. You could answer that. That wasn't a trick question for you. Excellent. Okay, so with that being said, it grows around the equator, any of the tropical zone, humid zones, and it varies like that. So I was able to bring the cocoa and be able to, market it like that as the Cocoa Ladies image. And I actually make body wraps with that. One of the first to do that.
Wow.
Yep, they featured that on 56 and 7 on the channel. Okay, and when I was making up the special body wraps going on with the cocoa.
That's amazing.
It hydrates the body cell.
In this winter, we all need to get hydrated after that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess right now, I think we're gonna go to the audience over here, and you're gonna lead us in some Afro cheese?
All right, why not? All right.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Are you there? Are you breathing? You don't have to move. You can stay right there to start out. Now keep in mind, Afro cheese can be done at any state of wellness, including for young people. Okay. The point of it is you want to be able to breathe correctly. Now we're taught when we're little in school is what, shoulders back, chest out, stand straight. That's how we were taught. I don't know if they still do that anymore, but I know that's how they used to tell us when we stood up in line going to playground. Okay, but you don't have to do that in order to relax well. Okay, what you need to do, keep in mind, it's about your belly. Okay, and filling the lungs, the diaphragm, and the belly, you actually need to bring it out as far as you can get it, and then exhale and bringing it back in. Okay, so put your hand maybe 2-3 inches in front so you can see where this is. Now touch it with bringing through the nose and exhale, squeeze it back as tight as you can. Okay, that's one revolution. Now you've got your body working first thing in the morning just to get started. Okay, so do it one more time. Full belly breathing, inhale. Exhale, yes, you got, do you know I was gonna get on you if you didn't? Okay, all right, so the next point is, if we can slide this chair just slightly over about a foot so you're not banging. Okay, great. So now you're going to take, open, that's opening, and closing, exhale. Okay, so you see how you're getting the body to start corresponding with yourself? Okay, so that's the first piece. So that you can do on the edge of the bed. Okay, if that's all you can do, you've got success story, because why? You're breathing. Okay. All right, so the next one, let's get you standing up. Come up just a little bit. Come on over here, come on. Okay, so now we're gonna do the ancient Indian. Okay, you know that with the pulsing on the soles of the feet, just the bounce, bounce, bounce? Okay, we're getting our body circulating and we're invigorating our lymphatic glands. Okay? So you're doing opening, full breath, and close, and you can do a pulse, pulse, pulse. Keep that in mind, because the lymphs don't work with aggressive action. They only work with light action to gently increase the movement within. You know how the lymphs build up under the neck when you have a cold or the flu? That's what you want to do, is start keeping that fluent under the arms. That's why you're extending the arms. Full body breathing and bring it back to your body. So that's how you're going to do first thing when you get up in the morning. Now the next piece, you want to keep in mind, even if you don't remember anything, all of what goes on, think of the segments of your body that you need to wake up. So you want to think of the top of the head. Okay, you've got the full breath, opening and closing. And now you can drop that head around and just slowly roundy-moundy, inhaling back up to 12. Okay, take a deep breath and close and go back around the other way. Okay, bounce, 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 bounce. And now you're going to work into the lymph gland. So now we're going to do something which is work the thyroid. Anyone ever tell you you had to exercise your thyroid to keep it healthy? No one ever told me until I thought about it. That's what we're doing right now. We're going to dip the head back a little bit. Deep breath, and then exhale, come bring the chin down to the chest. Come back up, center and focus, pulse, pulse, pulse. Yeah. Okay, so now inhale, we're going to stretch to a side twist to the head. Bring it forward. Deep breath, exhale, and bring it forward. Pulse, pulse. Okay, you're working that thyroid when no one told you that you had to, but the fact that you're keeping it nice and supple and workable, okay, you're healing your body naturally. Now the next piece, what you're doing, you're taking your elbows and bringing it down. Okay, we're taking the body, the elbows away from the body, so you're inhaling, and we're dropping it back down. Now you want to feel comfortable with this. It can be just like a flight, like a bird of paradise. Okay, inhale, stretch up, and bring it back down. You bring it forward, and back, up, pulse, pulse. Okay, so what you just did for that one is you work the lymphatic under your arms. Okay, so you're just naturally getting these fluids to move around. You can do that first thing in the morning, okay, to get your body secure. And any actions you have to do through the day. You might bend and drop a pencil, you know, or you might have to go run and catch a bus. By stretching those muscles in the back of your neck, okay, and then opening and closing the body in the chest, okay, this is working for you, preparing you where no one else can tell you if you're loose, tight, or whatever. You know, because you're checking your body every single day. Okay, this is how you can prepare your organs for good function. Okay, just by doing it that simple. And remember, this can be done all ages. Your grandmother can do it, you know, your baby son can do it. You know, just get them learning how to take care of their own body. So now you're centered and focused, your body is comfortable for where you are, the shoulders are nice and loose. Take a deep breath and exhale on a side bend. Inhale up, exhale on a side bend. Inhale up, pulse, pulse, deep breath, comfortable. Now you can sort of secure the back either with your hand or just keep it in mind that you're doing, and do a little back bend. Exhale, inhale back up, and this way you can come over and try to touch as far as you can, you're comfortable. It's all about comfort. It's not about pain. It's about learning your comfort level inside. You'll discover as the days go on, your body changes from one action to the other when you go to do that. Okay, but you're learning what you did right or wrong in the course of the day. Okay, so that's the benefit. It's all about self-learning. Okay, now remember we did this opening and closing. You want to know, be mindful. Our red blood cells are going to circulate from here. You're working with the thymus. Anyone ever tell you you had to massage or exercise your thymus? No, they tell you to make sure your heart is healthy, but they didn't tell you about your thymus. Okay, so now you're working that, and you want to keep that in mind. Remember, we get all this lymphatic fluids working in a nice way, and we're comfortable with it. Okay, we're feeling our body breathing, and we're feeling our body just becoming looser and looser. And you're doing it in the morning, when you're the stiffest in the morning, okay, from laying down, sleeping for so long. Okay, so now we've got the body all the way to here. Okay, and now that's just bringing the knees up. You're just basically bringing it up, okay, because you need to have a way to hit the lymphatics that are right here in the pelvic area. Okay, and this is the best and easiest way to get that circulation going, okay, to be comfortable. Pulse, pulse. So you want to add that pulse, pulse to make it go. Okay, then we can round those knees and round those hips, okay, and say, what am I feeling? Is my body fine or what? The important piece is you're now working the whole vertebrae in doing that. Okay, all of this stretching has done that chain reaction, all those dominoes in that vertebrae. You're actually supporting that by giving that good stretch, the good oxygen that goes into the body, the pulse, pulse to get rid of anything building up. Okay, so you're working to heal yourself. Okay, so the next point we are, we point one toe on the opposite hand. Okay, so then we're bringing, this is a comfort level, it's not about pain, so don't think about that. And just bring the toe so you're touching it as you're comfortable, and then inhale and bringing it back up, okay? Other foot, okay, the arm is out, okay, point it outward, now you're gonna bend down, and then you're gonna aim at that foot and come back up, okay? Pulse, pulse, okay? So now we've got a heel toe. What this does, this tells you a lot of what's going on in your ankles and knees. That first one does a good stretch, but that's a whole body twist of what you just did. Okay, but coming down on your heel and then bending that knee over, you can feel this from day to day, any changes of any extra sodium you didn't need. You're gonna feel it in your knees and your ankles with that movement. Deep breath, okay, and then point down, come back up. Keep that in mind, pulse, pulse. Okay, so now, I hope you can all, but this is about balancing. Okay, if you're challenged by balance, then don't do it. Okay, so one toe is in the back, and you simply bring it in the front, and you move. Okay, so you swing it around, okay, like that. So you just increase your balance level by doing that. Okay, you're not always perfect. You know, some days you stand up a little longer. Okay, some days you might actually tumble. But you just have one foot in the back, okay, and you're swinging around, and you try to bend that knee. The opposite knee that you have the weight on, okay? And that helps you to be more secure in your walking. So if you fell, I mean, this avoids the fall by being able to improve your balance, okay? So now we are with, we're gonna grab the energy from around us. We wanna bring the love to us, okay? That's what we wanna do, bring the love. First thing in the morning, I feel great, and I want that love to come right my way. Okay, so now we have two hands. We're going to salutation. This is an energy move. So just to make it a little slower, so make sure you get it. One hand on the bottom goes up, up, up. The one on the top goes back, back, back. Okay, you got that? The one on the bottom goes up, up, up. The one on the top goes back, back, back. If you can just remember that sequence, you'll get it. Trying to do it fast the first time isn't always the easiest. Took me a while to finally snap with that one. But the one on the bottom goes up, the one on the top goes back. Okay, so that's the other piece to it. Okay, it's part of the salutation. Okay, so then you come up, down, over the head. Now this one, you're coming up with your chi, that's a chi, your knees are nice and relaxed, your body is relaxed, and you're coming over. This says, I am beautiful. Yeah.